Most of the things you worry about never actually happen. It's strange, isn't it? We spend so much of our lives trapped in anxious thoughts about events that either don't exist yet or have already passed us by. But what if I told you there's a way to free yourself from this endless cycle? Alan Watts, the philosopher known for his deep insights into life and existence, revealed a profound approach to overcoming worry, not through denial, but by understanding its true nature and transforming the way we relate to it. His teachings hold the key to living a life of clarity, peace, and true presence. Worry is like a cloud that follows us, hanging over our heads, obscuring the beauty of the moment we're living in. Alan Watts described it as a symptom of living in a distorted relationship with time. He pointed out that most of our stress comes from being trapped in either the past or the future, two places that don't actually exist. The past is nothing more than a memory, a reconstruction of events filtered through your mind. The future is even less tangible. It's pure imagination, shaped by fears and hopes. Yet, we give these two illusions the power to steal our present. One of Watts's most profound teachings is the idea that life itself is self-sufficient. It doesn't need to be fixed, solved, or controlled. He often said that life isn't a problem to be solved. It's an experience to be lived. When we worry, we fall into the trap of treating life like a checklist of things to manage or avoid. We start believing that happiness lies just beyond the next task, the next achievement, or the next solution. But Watts invites us to see the truth. Life is already complete. The moment you stop trying to fix it is the moment you begin to live it. At the core of worry is our obsession with control. Watts argued that this need for control is one of the greatest illusions of human existence. We think we can predict outcomes, avoid pain, and manipulate circumstances to guarantee happiness. But in reality, control is fleeting at best. He often compared life to a river, flowing, unpredictable, and full of twists and turns. When you resist the current, trying to force it in a direction of your choosing, you only exhaust yourself. But when you relax and trust the flow, you discover that the river knows where it's going, even if you don't. This doesn't mean surrendering to passivity. Watts was clear that living without worry isn't about ignoring responsibilities or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about responding to life from a place of presence rather than fear. When you worry, your mind is tangled up in hypothetical scenarios, none of which are real. But when you're present, you can address what's actually in front of you with clarity and strength. Watts believed that the present moment is where your power lies. The more you stay anchored in it, the less power worry has over you. One of the most beautiful metaphors Watts used was that of a dance. He said life is like music or dance. Its value isn't in reaching the end, but in experiencing the movement. When you listen to a piece of music, you don't rush to the final note. You savor every melody, every beat. In the same way, when you stop rushing through life to get somewhere, you begin to see the beauty of where you are. Worry fades because there's no future to fear or past to regret. There's only the rhythm of the present. He also spoke about trust, not in a religious or mystical sense, but in a deeply human way. Trust, he said, is the art of letting go of resistance. It's the recognition that life has a way of working itself out, even when it doesn't follow your plans. Watts often used the analogy of floating in water. If you thrash around trying to stay afloat, you'll sink. But if you relax and trust the water to hold you, you'll find yourself supported. The same is true for life. When you let go of the need to control everything, you discover that life is capable of carrying you. Worry also thrives on seriousness. We take ourselves and our problems so seriously that every small challenge becomes a monumental crisis. Watts challenged this mindset, urging us to see the playfulness of existence. He pointed out that the universe isn't a grim, serious place. It's a creative, dynamic, and ever-changing expression of life. Look at nature. Birds don't sit on branches worrying about where their next worm will come from. Rivers don't stress about the obstacles in their path. They simply exist, trusting in the flow of life. When you embrace this playful perspective, worry starts to lose its grip. One of Watts's most transformative insights was his perspective on time. He explained that time, as we understand it, is a construct. The clock on your wall is a tool. It's not real in the way we think it is. Yet, we live as though time owns us, constantly chasing it, running from it, or feeling like there's never enough of it. This obsession with time creates a fertile ground for worry. Watts encouraged us to break free from this illusion by recognizing that the only time that truly exists is now. When you immerse yourself in the present, worry has nowhere to grow. The antidote to worry, according to Watts, is presence. When you're fully present, your mind doesn't have the space to spiral into anxious thoughts. You're too engaged with the richness of what's happening right here, right now. Watts often recommended simple practices to cultivate presence, like walking in nature, listening to the sounds around you, or even just focusing on your breath. These aren't escapes from worry. They're ways to reconnect with the reality of the moment, which is the only place where peace can be found. But Watts's teachings go even deeper. He believed that worry is rooted in a fundamental misunderstanding of who we are. We see ourselves as separate individuals, isolated from the world around us, and this sense of separation fuels our fear. But in reality, we're not separate. We're part of the universe, just as waves are part of the ocean. When you see yourself as connected to the flow of life, the need to control or resist it starts to fade. You realize that you're not a small, fragile being fighting against the world. You're the world, in its infinite complexity, experiencing itself. He also encouraged us to question the stories we tell ourselves. Worry often comes from the narratives we create about what could go wrong. But how often are those stories true? Watts urged us to see these thoughts for what they are, just thoughts. They're not reality. When you stop identifying with your thoughts, you gain the freedom to choose how you respond to them. Instead of being dragged into worry, you can observe it with curiosity, let it pass, and return to the present. Alan Watts didn't promise an easy fix to worry, but he offered a profound transformation in how we approach it. His teachings remind us that peace isn't something we find by solving all our problems or achieving all our goals. It's something we discover by shifting our perspective, by letting go of control, embracing the present, and trusting the flow of life. In the end, worry is like a shadow. It only exists when we turn away from the light of the present moment. Turn toward that light, and you'll find that worry fades, leaving you with the freedom to truly live. Before we continue, I just want to quickly say, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's absolutely free, only takes a second, and it's the best way to join this amazing, growing community of like-minded people. Plus, you won't miss the even better content we have coming your way in the future. Your support means everything, and I'd love for you to be part of this journey. Let's keep building something great together. Worry often traps us in cycles of mental tension because we give it power through our focus. Alan Watts emphasized the importance of understanding that the mind isn't always a trustworthy guide. He described the mind as a chatterbox, endlessly projecting fears, doubts, and anxieties to make us believe they're important. The more we pay attention to this mental noise, the more we strengthen its hold on us. Watts taught that instead of arguing with these thoughts or trying to silence them, we should simply observe them. Watch them come and go like clouds passing through the sky. When you detach from them, they lose their urgency and dissolve. Many people worry because they feel that their life should look a certain way or follow a specific timeline. Watts challenged this idea by reminding us that life is not a linear path, but a series of interconnected moments. The need to get it right comes from societal conditioning, not from the reality of how life works. When you let go of the rigid expectations placed upon you, whether by others or by yourself, you open the door to freedom. Life is not a project with a deadline. It's a vast, unfolding process where every moment matters equally. Alan Watts often compared human life to waves in the ocean. Each wave rises, moves, and eventually subsides, only to become part of the larger ocean again. This analogy is a powerful reminder that the individual moments we stress over are part of a greater whole. A single wave doesn't worry about whether it's rising at the right angle or cresting at the right height. It simply moves with the rhythm of the ocean. In the same way, Watts believed we should trust the natural flow of our lives instead of analysing every moment. Worry thrives on the illusion that you need to hold everything together. Watts explained this beautifully by saying that the more tightly you try to hold on to life, the more it slips through your fingers. Think about sand in your hand. Grip it tightly and it falls away. Hold it loosely and it stays with you. The same applies to life. When you stop micromanaging every aspect of your existence, you begin to feel a sense of ease and spaciousness. Life doesn't need your control. It needs your trust. Watts was a strong advocate for surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of letting go of resistance. He encouraged people to notice how much energy they waste fighting against what is. For example, we often resist uncomfortable emotions, trying to push them away or distract ourselves from them. But Watts taught that leaning into these emotions, rather than avoiding them, is where true peace lies. When you fully allow yourself to feel whatever arises, it passes through you instead of becoming stuck within you. One of Watts's most revolutionary ideas was the concept of being fully alive in the mundane. Most people believe happiness comes from extraordinary events, achievements, or possessions. But Watts argued that the richness of life is found in the ordinary, in the small, quiet moments we often overlook. The sound of the wind, the taste of your food, the feeling of sunlight on your skin. These are the moments where life truly happens. When you bring your awareness to these simple experiences, worry fades because your mind is too engaged with the beauty of the present to dwell on imagined fears. Worry often stems from the fear of failure, but Watts had an entirely different view of what failure means. He believed that failure is not a reflection of your worth, but a natural part of growth. In fact, he saw failure as a form of learning, an opportunity to deepen your understanding of life. The fear of failure keeps so many people stuck, unable to take risks or embrace new experiences. But when you see failure as a teacher rather than an enemy, you free yourself to live more courageously and with less anxiety about outcomes. Another profound teaching of Watts was about the nature of identity. So much of our worry comes from a sense of separation. We see ourselves as isolated individuals responsible for navigating a chaotic world. Watts reminded us that this separation is an illusion. You are not just a single being. You are connected to everything around you. Just as a leaf is part of a tree, you are part of the universe. When you realize this, the burden of worry lessens because you no longer feel alone in facing life's challenges. You understand that you are supported by something much greater. Time is one of the most common sources of worry. We're constantly afraid of running out of time, wasting it, or not using it effectively. Watts believed that this obsession with time is a deeply ingrained illusion. He urged people to step out of the mental construct of time and into the timelessness of the present. When you stop measuring your life in terms of hours, days, or years, you begin to experience a sense of expansiveness. The present moment is infinite, and within it, there is no rush, no deadline, only the fullness of being alive. Watts also spoke about the paradox of effort. Many people approach self-improvement as a task, believing they must work hard to become peaceful or free from worry. But Watts pointed out that the harder you try, the further you push yourself from the goal. True peace isn't something you achieve through force. It's something you allow by stepping out of your own way. Peace is already within you. It's not a destination, but a state of being. The moment you stop striving for it, you realize it's been there all along. Thank you so much for watching. The support this past month has been absolutely insane. I can't even begin to thank you all enough for the love, the comments, and just showing up for this channel. It honestly keeps me motivated to bring you even better content. And trust me, there's so much more coming soon. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. It really helps the channel grow and keeps us connected. And one more thing, memberships are here. Each level comes with its own perks, including fun emojis and unique badges to show off in the comments. But whether you decide to join or not, just know that your support is always appreciated more than I can put into words. Thanks again for being here.